Okay, so what I was going to start with today is just a quick review. So please chime in if you have any great insights or you have any questions or anything. But I just wanted to do a quick review of what we had done up to this point so that as we go on, it helps us understand because it's basically we're building on who we are and then we'll move on from there. So let me share a screen here. So remember, initially we had the Habits Manifesto, which told us things that we needed to do to get better. And I shared that with all of you, and like I said, I think it just summarizes basically how to go about changes in your life in a more positive way than what I've seen before. And then we had, it's not working. Come on. The essential 7 things that help you. And if you have forgotten about the essential 7, the one thing I'm beginning to realize is the essential 7 creep up in where we're going. So periodically you'll see some of these things that you should be doing in your life that will pop up in other places. So the essential 7. And then, of course, our 4 tendencies: the upholder, the obliger, the questioner, and the rebel. Okay? Okay. Now, let me get back to where I was. I'm going to read my notes.
Did you send the essential 7s? Did you send that out?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, I'll look through my emails. Okay.
Right after the first session, I sent out the manifesto and the essential 7.
Okay.
Okay. And let me know if you didn't get it. And then we talked about the distinctions because we know that the tendencies are pretty set. That's who we are. And then these distinctions that make us even more, we're complex human beings, but things like larker and owl, a marathoner, a sprinter, or a procrastinator, the underbuyer, the overbuyer, the simplicity lover or the abundance lover, the finisher or the opener, the familiarity as opposed to the novelty lover, the promotion person or the prevention focused person, and then the person who likes small steps as opposed to the person who goes for big steps. Okay. Any questions about those self-awareness things so far? Does everybody have an idea of kind of where you fall with some of those, or you have any questions? I sent out the questions yesterday that will kind of help you figure out some of those distinctions a little bit better if you're confused. But does anybody have any questions or comments on that so far? We all are perfectly where we are. And then last week we talked about monitoring and how important it is to monitor what we're doing before we try to make changes, or to decide, like, because we have a tendency to make ourselves think that we're doing better than we actually are. And that through monitoring, we know that we aren't getting as many steps in. We're not exercising as much. We're eating way too much. We're eating the wrong things. So when we start to monitor, we can see those things that, especially things that we think we want to change. As we monitor them, we can get an idea about what is it I need to change and how should I approach it? What am I doing right? What am I possibly wanting to change? Now, monitoring, I'm going to kind of, I don't know if I made this real clear last time. We have the tendencies, the distinctions, and now we're in an area of the book called the 4 pillars of habits. The first pillar is the monitoring. Okay? You can't, the habits you have to monitor. Okay, that's just a necessary thing, or you're never going to be able to change your habits. Tonight, we're going to get into the second pillar, and this is the foundation. Okay, and this one might step on some toes a little bit, because it stepped on my toes a little bit. I can honestly tell you, because I was like, no, wait a minute, that's not right. It's hard to argue with a book. I'm just saying, it's easier to argue with a person. So feel free to jump in when you hear something and you go, whoa, wait a minute. Because this one's a little, it's going to throw some curveballs at you, just a little bit. But this is the foundation. If you're, and the author talks about that, it's easier to foster new or better habits if your foundation is strong. So if you have certain things in your life that are strong, these foundations, you're going to have an easier time trying to shift some things in your life and create some new habits. She went and looked at experts, and they say, according to her, it's easier to foster one new habit at a time instead of multiple. So these people who go in trying to change their entire life, that just doesn't work very well. But there's a side note to that says, as you change one thing in your life, suddenly you'll see, as you're working on like one positive change, you'll see something else start to change as well. And it'll make it easier when you're ready to complete or make another change, because they kind of are interrelated with each other. Okay, so you shouldn't try to say there's 2 or 3 things I want to change. Focus on one and you'll see some of the others changing. And as I talk about some of this stuff, you'll see that they're kind of interrelated, because we know change fosters change. I mean, when we start to change things in our lives, other things start to change for the good, hopefully. And another thing, and it's kind of on the flip side, that undesirable habits often cluster and reinforce each other. And that's where people get the idea of, I've got to change so much in my life, it's overwhelming, because there's so many things wrong. There's so many habits I'm trying to break, because habits like to cluster and reinforce each other, especially the ones that are negative and undesirable to us, because that's just kind of, they build on each other. So she suggests that you begin by choosing, yes, like watching too much TV while binge eating on the couch. Elder Marcia hit it, because things cluster. You know you shouldn't do it, but they cluster. Well, if I'm watching a movie, I have to have popcorn and soda. Right? And that's not what I should do. So she suggests you definitely try to address the big obvious problem that you think you have. The big and I like to take the word big out of there, because I think big isn't necessarily the word. I like the word obvious. What's the most obvious thing you see that you feel like you need to change? And most people look to the easy spot to change instead of the root of the problem. So, like, let's say the root of the problem is you're not getting enough sleep. Well, the easy thing to change would be, well, I'll catch up on my sleep on the weekend. Well, the root of the problem is you haven't got a nighttime routine. You're not going to catch up on something. You're trying to change, you're trying to change the symptom instead of the root. I'm overeating, so I'll eat 3 meals a day and no more. Well, but you're not looking at what you're eating. So the root of the problem could be what you're eating, not how often you're eating. Does that make sense? So we need to be careful
Or
that why?
Yeah, or why you're eating.
Or why you're
Right.
eating. Absolutely. A lot of people will say, I'm overeating, so I just need to fix how I'm eating. And they don't look at, I had a friend of mine who said she went through weight loss therapies. I mean, I watched her go from, well, like 300 pounds to 150 and back up again and back down again. And we were just having a conversation one time about it. And she said, I was never going to keep the weight off if I didn't go to a therapist for why I was eating the way I was eating. Why? Because I was emotionally eating. It had nothing to do with bad eating habits. It had everything to do with emotional eating habits. So very much, Mother Trout, very much that why do we do something? So you have to seriously look at that. Okay, it's most helpful for us to begin with habits that help strengthen our self-control. So we need to form habits that help strengthen self-control. So there's a lot of things that come into play, but we need to say, okay, this helps me feel more successful. I feel like I'm in more command of my life, my self-control. I don't have to work as hard at being successful because it strengthens my self-control instead of challenging me too much and making me think too hard or get too frazzled if I don't get it right. So you want to simplify it so you don't so you feel successful. And as you feel successful, then you're going to be able to really make that habit stick. So the 4 pieces or the 4 areas that do the most to boost your feelings of self-control and tend to reinforce each other are your foundation. And I'm going to say the 4 areas, and then we're going to go back and really delve into each of the 4 areas. So the 4 areas are sleep, move, eat and drink right, and unclutter. I'm going to put a little caveat here, and I'll say it again later. It's all relative. Understand this is the perspective of someone who has a different tendency and distinction than what I might have or you have. But these 4 foundations are important. It's just how you approach them. So when we get to unclutter, for some people, uncluttering is not a good thing because that's who they are. And you can unclutter them, but they end up getting back recluttered because that's a place they need to be. So we have to be real careful that if their tendencies, like we talked about, or their distinctions lead them to be a clutterer, that's going to be hard to say, well, you need to unclutter. There's degrees of that. So I just wanted to put that in there. So let's talk about sleep. Mother Trout's going to love this one. It actually takes a lot of psychic and physical energy, like a real burst of energy, to go to bed. Think about it. If you don't have a bedtime routine and you don't have a set time for bed and how you're going to approach it and everything, it really takes a lot of effort. And that last 30 minutes before you should be going to bed is your danger zone. Most people like to say, well, I I like to be exhausted before I go to bed. Well, that's dangerous because then you get overtired and you're almost wired awake. Do you ever notice that you do that? I do that. If I get overtired, I'm wide awake and I can't get to sleep. When we used to do Relay for Life, I would get past tired and we'd get home about, and we would have gone a full 24 hours without sleep, and I'd get home and I couldn't go to sleep. And it was pointless because I'd gone beyond that tired point. Okay. And that's an extreme example, but that's what happens. So the last 30 minutes before you go to bed is a danger zone because that's the time when you should be preparing for bed, not talking yourself out of it. The problem with getting a set schedule in the evening is that people work all day long and they do things for other people all day long. You work, you run errands, you clean, you do whatever you do all day long. And so you value that evening time to be your time. And you don't want to lose any of it. And you're afraid if I go to bed too soon, I won't have any me time. So it's the like, well, I'm losing my me time. And that's true. So it's kind of hard to say to somebody, well, you need to go to bed by 8 o'clock. Well, I can't tell you what time to go to bed. I just, from what she's saying, you just need a set time. So understand, it's not trying to say to take away the me time that you have and that you value, but to be more conscious of a routine. By setting a time and some intentional things that get you into that routine, you're going to find that these intentional things get your body, your mind, and everything ready for bed. Now, for me, I have a routine of I head to my bedroom a little bit earlier than bedtime because I don't watch the same television shows that Steffi watches. So I will go in there. And part of my bedtime routine is taking all of my bedtime medicines, making sure I have plenty of water by the bed, brushing my hair, washing my face, all those things that make me, it's like my routine that says to me, it's time for you to wind down. Now, I do watch TV in bed, and a lot of people will tell you don't do that, but that's what I do. I watch TV in bed. And that's just because I go into my bedroom so early. If I lived alone, I probably wouldn't go into my bedroom so early. So, but I at about a certain time, then I put everything away and I start to really bring myself down even further. And then the TV goes off and that kind of thing. Although my TV doesn't go off as often as it should. I'll admit that. My TV is on and I doze off. So, sleep is one of those things that's hard because we feel like we have so many things we need to do and we don't recognize our own tendencies like we should and recognize this lark owl thing. That's it. You just have to say, this is who I am, and maybe I can make some adjustments to it to make sure that you get enough sleep for you. The thing about sleep is this. It affects every aspect of your body, your health, your mental well-being, your psyche, your ability to think on the, and be sharp. If you ever notice nights that you don't get enough sleep, you fade during the day, you can't focus on projects, You know, I know if I've gotten a good night's sleep, I can focus on a project and really work on something and get it done. But if I don't get good sleep, don't ask me to think. So, sleep is the first one. Any thoughts?
So that, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Marsha.
So that, so I'm gonna try this for about a week. I'm gonna see what it goes. But I can see how having a routine, if you do that, regularly, your body will get used to saying this. Okay, this is what we're doing now. My body is starting to wind down. I'm going to start. Eventually, you'll be starting to get sleepy at that time because you're training your body to that it's time to relax now.
Right.
So yeah, I'm gonna start doing I'm gonna do my own routine.
And see, I take melatonin at night. I take melatonin and I take a time released melatonin. And the melatonin you're supposed to take at least 20 minutes before you're ready to go to sleep. Well, it's well before that I take it. But it does help your body kind of, it's a natural way to cue your body for it's now time to start, because your body naturally produces the melatonin to put you to sleep. I also noticed that having blackout curtains is really improved. Yes. Blackout curtains. I have the problem of, hallelujah. Yeah. Blackout, because I am the kind of person that if the sun's up, like, oh my gosh, I saw a little peep of sunlight, and it was really annoying to me because I couldn't sleep in. Like, even if I didn't have to get up, I couldn't just sleep a little bit longer. And I found that if I got once I got the darker curtains, I could. So yes, if you get the blocking curtains, that helps. It also helps with flashing lights or street lights or storms where there's lightning. I kind of like to sleep during storms, but I don't like the flashes of light for lightning. So yeah, I agree with that one totally. Yes, ma'am. We can't hear you.
I have the eye mask.
Uh-huh.
And that it not only blocks out the light, but it also relaxes my eyes. I find that it does. And the only time that I would take it off is because I'm too hot and I'll have to take it off. But other than that, I'll put that on and it really relaxes my eyes and helps me to, let me stop thinking about that right now.
Well, and it's a cue to your body. Your body's got a cue that it's time. And that's what you need. You need those cues to do that. And you'll find anything from there's lavender sprays to spray around you. There's all kinds of things that are cues and are soothing. Whatever it is that is soothing to you, that's what you need to start thinking about. What's soothing? If you have a diffuser kind of thing and you put some lavender in, that's helpful.
That's what I was going to share. That well, in addition to like I agree with Pastor that the blackout curtains really hugely made a difference. I'm a very light sleeper, so I can go to, as soon as my head hits the pillow, I can go to sleep, but I struggle with staying asleep. So but I actually have an alert on my phone that tells me every night at 9:45, like, okay, it's a reminder that this is time to go to bed. Now, I'll be honest with you, here lately, I have ignored it. So I'm trying to get back on track with that. But I used to wear a sleep mask, like Mother Trout said. But for me, some kind of way, I don't know why, but it made my eyes, I would wake up with gunk coming out of my eyes, just like sleep, like when you wake up the next morning, you just kind of have crusty eyes or whatever. So somehow or another, the sleep mask like doubled and tripled the amount. So I stopped wearing the mask, but I do the diffuser. And I've got a little essential oils, anybody need essential oils? Rafa has essential oils. But the essential oil diffuser I turn on, and it's all like I've always said about, like, I'm a big person on atmosphere. So there are some times I'll go in the bedroom and I'll light a candle on or whatever. That's kind of my indicator too. But the big thing is the diffuser. I think getting the blackout curtains made such a difference, because even when I didn't necessarily want to sleep in later, as the season changes or time changes with the seasons, sometimes it's lighter earlier than you really want to get up. So I had to do something about that. But yeah, I think all of those things work for sure.
Now, I did for a while, I was having trouble sleeping, and I was listening to the Bible on CD, because the man reading was very soothing.
You should listen to the one with James Earl Jones. Oh my God, you will be asleep in 10 minutes.
There is, and it was great, except for once in a while I would like, am I ever going to get past who begot who? It was driving me crazy. But interestingly, I heard one of the faculty members, I was in a meeting today, he said he reads to his wife at night. And he's an English faculty. And he said, I've taken to reading to my wife. And I don't know, I got a sense that maybe something's not all right with the wife. I don't know. But anyway, he said, he's reading her The Hobbit right now. And he said, I don't know how she can sleep through. Like, I get a page and a half and she's gone. So I'm still reading out loud and she's snoring. But he reads to her at night to get her to wind down. So if those kinds of things, like, if for me, voices actually are soothing. And so that's why I have the TV on sometimes, not because I'm watching it, but because the sound of voices will actually soothe me and put me to sleep. And I'm not listening to it. It's just this drone. It's like a white noise for me. So if you need a white noise, go for the white noise as well.
Okay. I'll try that. I think I'd like to be read to.
Well, I think that,
it's his English accent.
Well, and there are apps that you can get that are meditative apps. We have the one Calm. It's called Calm. And it has bedtime stories. I can never get through any of the bedtime stories. I get like, and I never hear the end of it. Never hear the end of the story. Now, Steffi uses them, and she'll listen to 3 or 4 stories and loves it, because it's just somebody is calmly reading and telling you a story about any number of things you can pick. But they're great if that's what puts you to sleep. So
one of the other things that that we, since I've taken up office in the guest bedroom, we moved the television out of the bedroom, because even when we moved here, I tried to get him to not have a TV in the bedroom, but I actually operate better, because when I go to the bedroom, it's time to go to bed. Like, that's one of my indicators. So I cannot sleep with the TV on. I have a hard enough time shutting my brain off. So I can kind of listen to a little bit of music, but then I have to turn it off. I've tried the bedtime stories on the app thing, and I can listen to it for a little while, and it does make me sleepy, but I have to turn it off. Because if I have something actually going on, my brain won't actually shut off.
You're
and I really don't
more on that than you
right. And I don't get the sleep or the rest like I would need to. So
yeah. And see, I sleep real hard and I'm awake. And I sleep real hard, and I can see that in my tracker thing shows me exactly what I'm doing. And I know I do that. I have like I sleep in spurts, really hard, like quick spurts. And I know I do it because I roll around, and I know I sense that I'm awake at night. So again, and sometimes monitoring will tell you just how much sleep you really are getting. And sometimes you're getting more sleep than you think. So anything else? Those are a lot of great suggestions. And since this is one of the foundations, this is important that if you're not getting enough sleep, start with that and see if you can get a better routine with that. And then you might find some other things that are working for you. The second one is move. Now this is, I want to be sure you understand I'm saying move, not exercise, if that makes sense. Physical movement, just physical movement, relieves anxiety. It boosts your energy and mood. It improves your memory. It sharpens function, and it contributes to weight maintenance, not loss. Hear that well. Movement, just exercise is not, if people think, oh, I'll exercise and lose weight. No, it's weight maintenance. And it's all those other things as well. But movement alone is not going to get you to lose weight. But it is going to improve a lot of other things in your life. It helps us stick to other good habits because it strengthens our self-command. If I say to myself, I got to get up and move around, I got to go for a walk. It's been nice outside. We went for a walk, and it just, if I choose to get up and move, and I have control over if I get up and move or not. So it's my own self-command and my own, well-being. Okay. Most people make the assumption that exercise equals like long periods of time on equipment, at a gym, at all of that. That's not everything. It's just moving around is beneficial. So just walking, I know this sounds weird, walking up and down the stairs to do your laundry is beneficial. And you're getting something else done. Doing yard work, it's that movement that's as beneficial as just intensive exercise. Yes, I have aches and pains, so I know what things are going to be better and not so good for me to do. But to go for a walk, even with bad knees, the more movement with arthritis or something, you're still moving. And the movement actually makes the arthritis a little less debilitating. I know that sounds strange, but it's true. Interestingly, statistically, people who get the biggest boost in health are those who go from a completely sedentary lifestyle to a slightly less sedentary lifestyle. Their drop in mortality rates are better than those who suddenly go to 20 minutes of exercise every day. So it's not about like, I have to set a goal of 20 minutes every day. It's I have to keep myself moving. I can't just get up and go sit on the couch all day. And I know, like, for me working at home, Marsha's working at, for all of us who are working at home, the hardest part of working at home is I don't move enough. Mother Trout, you don't move enough. We don't move enough. And so we really have to either like prod ourselves to get up and move around. We have to, once we do get up, make sure we don't sit right back down again. Spend time, like I spent some time this evening on the exercise bike just because I just hadn't moved enough today. So we really have to make that effort to move more. When I'm at work, I move around a lot. I just don't do it at home. And so that's where the whole working from home, some people love it. I don't like it so very much because I don't move enough. And it's created a little bit of a problem for me because I feel like I stiff and achy, and yeah. Most people drop exercising after 6 months because they choose the exercise regimen for the wrong reasons, or they choose the wrong exercise regimen, which is what we talked about when we talked about our tendencies. Well, Mother Trout wants to do it with a person and Marcia doesn't. That's how we lose. We choose the wrong exercise for the wrong person. So we have to really, the only time we're going to stick to our exercise routine is if it suits our temperaments, our tendencies, and our distinctions, and our schedule. So, and I think we talked about exercise, and Pastor said, oh, he thought he could just get up and go exercise. And that just wasn't working for him. Well, no, because it didn't make sense for his body. His body was like, no, this isn't working for me. The schedule was off. So finding what works better, and piecing it together, like, is it better for me to exercise this way or this way? So there's some considerations about choosing how you move. Okay. And we'll just do it very simply. Are you a lark or an owl? Are you more likely to get exercise in and feel better about it in the morning or in the evening? Some people it's midday. I am too stiff in the morning. I need to wait till a little bit later after I've been up a while. Are you more likely to enjoy being inside or outside? Some people really, if they can get outside, that's the best place for them to go. Exercise outside. Mother Trout likes to go for a walk. We went for a walk yesterday. Yeah, made me happy. I don't have to walk fast. I don't have to walk uphill, and I don't have to walk along, long distance, but it made me happy because you're also getting some sunshine. Are you motivated by competition? Are you motivated by having external accountability? Do you need someone to motivate you and to check in with you and say, are you exercising? Now, I was doing that for a while with some people, but I don't know, was it helpful to remind you? Because it might have been the wrong time of day. If it's the wrong time of day and I'm reminding you to exercise, it's not going to do any good. Do you like to challenge yourself? Or maybe not. I'm not a big challenger. I'm not real competitive, and I'm not a challenger. The most I challenge is I have a tension thing on my bike, and I might turn it up. Give me a little more resistance. Do you like sports and games, or are you more of an individual, exercise kind of thing? Some people get all their exercise by being on a kickball league or a volleyball league because that's what they enjoy to do. And that's how they're getting their exercise. So they don't necessarily exercise outside of playing games. And this is a key. Is it inconvenient to shower afterwards? If you're really going to work up a sweat and it's inconvenient to exercise afterwards, that's going to be really, like for some people, I've worked with people who would go to the gym on campus in first thing in the morning, bring all their work clothes with them, go to the gym, get all sweaty and yucky, take a shower, get dressed, and then go to work. And they like that. I would find that awful. Other people, they would work all day, change into workout clothes, go to the gym, and then go home and shower. Because showering at night can be part of that nighttime routine that helps you get ready for bed. There's the other thing. The key here is to act the way you want to feel. So it's about feeling, if you want more energy, act like you have more energy. Get up and do things. It's those little things that actually are beneficial. You'll see the emotional and the physical benefits of just moving around. I have a tendency to get up, walk to the front door. I'll walk out to the porch. I check the weather. I don't know. It's just something I do. And it's at least some movement while I'm sitting here. But the key here is, yeah, walking in the evenings. There are many people who do like dinner and then walk after dinner. That's walk in place during commercials. Absolutely. I get on my little exercise bike and go really slow and watch TV. Like a Florissant group or a Tower Grove group, right? That would be fine. Even if we only met once a week to go for a long walk, that would be something. And the thing is that even if it's once a week and not every day, it's okay. That's success. Success is doing something, whatever it is. So thinking that that's not enough is not being fair to who we are. And remember that exercise does not promote weight loss, it maintains your weight. Okay? It's good for you because one of the things we forget is that when we exercise, we're creating muscle. And muscle weighs more than fat. So here's the thing that I've noticed since I've been using my little bike. My legs look different, but I'm not losing a lot of weight, but my legs do look differently. They're stronger. But, I have ugly bad knees, like, they like to give me grief once in a while. And so sometimes it's harder than other times, but I like to try and keep moving. So, okay, we're on the third one. We got to get going here. Eating and drinking right. Okay, here we go. Okay, so your brain needs food to manage your impulses. And one way to avoid impulsive overeating is to eat. Do you like that? Because your brain needs food, okay? To be able to stop yourself from impulsively eating, you should eat. Now, let's talk about that a little bit. Some people choose to do I only eat when you're hungry and I never have seconds. That works for some people. It may not work for you. What you have to cue into is, what are your cues of physical hunger? What is your routine? What are your social influences? And what are other outside triggers that cause you to eat? Oh, it's movie time. I have popcorn and soda. Okay, so am I physically hungry? A lot of times what we do, and this is something I've been working on lately, is Steffi, every time Steffi gets up to get something to eat, she'll say, Mom, do you want any? And what I do is I sit here and I go, I do a check. What did I eat last? When did I eat it? Am I hungry? No. So I don't get any. Otherwise, she'd have me eating nonstop because she eats at different times than I do. So I eat, and then when she asks me, it's like my way of double checking. Am I hungry? No, then I'm not going to eat. Mother
Truck. I'm going to ask me, do you want an ice cream? And I just say yes.
But if that's her way of saying she wants an ice cream, then you just say, oh, no, I don't, but do you? So you have to, it's almost like you have to stop and think.
Right. I have
and
to.
get to the habit of stopping before and realizing it's an outside trigger that's you're just eating something you don't really want.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really want that. Why am I eating it? I don't really want it. So we need to really pay attention to the cues of our hunger. Am I really hungry? Am I really that hungry? Am I eating at noon because it's noon? And I have a tendency to do that, but I'm also hungry. So if it's your routine and you've got it worked out that you're hungry, then fine. But at dinner time, I may eat any time, dinner time, because it just depends on, I may sit and watch the news and I'm not hungry. So I don't eat anything until I'm sure I really want something. And social influences, because not so much anymore, but used to be you'd go out with people. Where would you go? You went out to eat. You go out to eat. And when you go out to eat, the portions are bigger. You're sitting, you're not paying any attention to how much you're eating. Oh, taste mine. And all of that mess happens. And they're just our outside triggers that we eat because that's what you do during certain things. Portion control, absolutely. Like I said, I think I said it last week. There are restaurants that give you, I can have like 3-4 meals from what they hand me. I just need to know that. I can have that. I just need to know I'm taking it home and it's going to be 3 or 4 meals.
They said on the news one time that I think it was the United States, that, the restaurants, the portions are just overloading.
We have the largest servings of
the
any
largest
country.
servings. Yeah. And so you go in there and so you eat it all.
Yeah.
When Pastor and I went to Puerto Rico, Costa Rica for my little brother's wedding, summer before last. When he ordered the room service the first time, he was kind of offended at the size. But especially when we ordered dessert, because there was like, oh, cheesecake with strawberry sauce. Okay, great. And we are thinking it's gonna be our slice, each one of them on a plate. It was this big. It was a little square. But when you ate everything, you really were full. But it's like I said before, we're used to eating until we're just when you ate everything, you were content. But we eat to be full, and I'm really big, and I'm trying my best to mentally cut down on portion size. Like, we can have some of the things that we do. It's just how much of it that we eat.
Well, and we just need to know, like I was eating a hamburger the other night, and I kept thinking, I got to finish this. And then I thought, no, I don't. I will feel sick if I finish it.
That's me. I keep telling Pastor that, like, I can't. He's like, it's just a little bit left. I'm like, but I literally cannot eat it.
But if you chew and eat slower, your body will tell you it takes longer. Okay. This is not in my notes, but I remembered it because I was talking to Steffi about it. It takes us on average 12 minutes to eat. It takes your body 20 minutes to figure out it's full. All right. That means I've already eaten and I'm done eating, and now I feel just horrible because I'm eating too fast. That's why a lot of the psychological how to eat better things that are happening are teaching you eat slower, smaller portions slower, and your body cues will start to tell you, hey, you know what? I think I'm full. I'm getting full. And maybe I don't want the whole hamburger, or maybe I don't want the whole sandwich. I'll have half and take half home because, restaurants give you, or if you're cooking something in your kitchen, Steffi made dinner tonight. Hallelujah. It was wonderful. She made chicken. And, we have leftovers, and that's fine because we'll have them again. We make a plenty, but we don't have to eat it all. But you eat slow enough to realize that I'm done when you're done, and that your portion, and that's sort of a way of training yourself to pay attention to what you're eating and how fast you're eating. And if you notice, some people eat faster than others. Some of it is you eat slower I think you eat slower in restaurants because you're talking. But when you're at home, you don't think about it. You're not really talking. You're watching TV, you're doing whatever. Or you may or may not be talking. But you have to pay closer attention to all of that. One of the things, though, that she brought up, and this is, one of the things that you hear, oh, you should always eat breakfast. And that breakfast isn't for everyone. When you say breakfast, everybody thinks of a huge meal. It doesn't have to be a huge meal. But what it establishes for you, because I am on the weekends, like I will wait till I've been up almost 2 hours and then cook a breakfast, because it takes me that long to figure out I really am hungry. But on a day like I have to work, I get out of bed, I'm not like starving. I'm not a big breakfast person on a work day. But what I learned is I need to eat something because I can't make it till noon. I get hangry and it's ugly, and Steffi has seen it and it's horrible. I will bite your head off. She just said, I'm mean. But what you need for breakfast is something that it prevents you from getting too hungry before your next meal. And even if it's like I do yogurt with some fruit and granola, or I'll do a piece of I cut up a pear, or I'll have an orange with it, or I do like a lighter breakfast most of the time because I have to do it faster, lighter, and it'll get me till noon. Now on weekends, I'll be up for a couple hours, then I'll cook a bigger breakfast for Steffi and I, but that I won't have 3 meals that day. I'll maybe have brunchish, and then we'll have a dinner. But it's not good to skip meals. It's good to have something. Go ahead, Mom Trout.
Well, when I was doing this, I hope to pick up something. But I used to do this Leslie Sansone exercise from YouTube. And one of the things that she said is she wants us to use her videos, but she said it's walk away the pounds. She said, but walking outside is better. And she also said, do not skip breakfast. So when you said that was the first thing I thought about, was her saying, do not skip breakfast. She said, don't tell this Italian lady that you're skipping breakfast. So that goes to show you how often I've heard her exercise tape.
Yeah, well, and skipping meals makes it harder for your self-control and your impulses, because you get to the point where you're like, I'll eat anything that I can get my hands on, and then you're going to eat junk and not a good meal. So, okay, we're getting a little long-winded here, so let's get into the drinking, and you guys are going to love this. Okay. Alcohol, we're going to talk a little bit about alcohol, but her focus was not alcohol. Alcohol lowers your inhibitions, which means you have a tendency to overeat because, it's a self-control thing. It does disrupt your sleep. Again, it makes people less likely to exercise, and it undercuts efforts at self-control. But to be honest with you, she put alcohol as this one little paragraph. But what she really focused on was water. And she said this: you are not likely to mistake your thirst for hunger, which is a lot of what people are saying. Oh, if you're hungry, or you might be thirsty, or if you're thirsty, you might be hungry. There's this theory out there that, oh, just drink water first to see if you're really hungry or not. No, she talks about, like, if you're thirsty, you know it. You know what that feels like. So by saying to yourself, oh, I don't know if I'm hungry or not, I'll drink some water, you might be just postponing the inevitable. You need to eat. And if you're thirsty, you're thirsty. And if you're hungry, you're hungry. So she kind of dispelled that whole mess. The whole drink more water movement is what she called it, is to get you to stop drinking unsweetened drinks, not because you need more water. It's to the whole movement of you need to drink 8 glasses of water. No, if you're thirsty, you drink water. If you're thirsty, you drink. But what choice are you making to drink? That's what she said is important. If you're thirsty, make the choice to go for an unsweetened drink, whatever that is. It doesn't mean, oh, I have to drink 8 bottles of water a day. Doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that. There are people who literally carry around a gallon jug and try to drink a gallon jug in a day. She said that's pointless. Because what are you doing? You're trying to flush out your body. Why? You're not doing anything that's worthwhile. If you're thirsty, you're thirsty. If you're hungry, you're hungry. Deal with those things and the self-control. The choice you make with your drinks is what's important. Stay away from sweet drinks and drink when you're thirsty. And you'll find you have enough water in your system. But this whole drink all the water in the world, it may be messing with your impulse control with food, because you're drinking water, and you're not eating regularly during the day. And then you get to the end of the day and then you're impulse eating because all I did was drink water all day. So it kind of messes you up a little bit.
I've noticed I was not drinking a lot of water at all. I mean, I can go the whole day without drinking water. But
were you drinking anything else?
Not really. I would have a cup of coffee in the morning. And,
okay.
And then, yeah, I could go the whole day. So but now I've started drinking more water. I've noticed that my I had horrible constipation. I've noticed that drinking of water has helped that. And it also has me feeling more full, fuller, drinking water.
Well, if you drink, like if you choose, like in my house, we drink water with our meals. That's what we drink. We don't usually have soda in the house. We do once in a while. If we go out to eat once in a while, she'll get a soda, I'll get a soda, but we don't make a habit of that. That's how we're sure we're gonna, and if you're thirsty, drink your water. I'm not saying don't drink water and don't, and yes, drink water when you're eating, that's good. It's going to help your digestion. But there's some diets out there that will tell you must drink like all this water all day long. And what she's saying is, well, if you're thirsty, you're thirsty. And if you're hungry, you're hungry. Just make sure you're doing it wisely and self-control wise. So you're eating properly and you're drinking unsweetened drinks, whatever it is. She said, drink iced tea, unsweetened iced tea, drink black coffee. It's okay. It's liquid. And Marsha, if you weren't getting enough water, then you weren't getting enough water. And
I know I wasn't.
Well, but you knew that and you felt it and you knew it was thirst and you knew your body was not reacting properly. So if you're not getting enough water, it's gonna affect your body and you're gonna know.
And then I heard this crazy thing where it's somewhere out there where it says you need to drink in ounces, whatever your body weight is.
Oh,
it's crazy.
Oh, honey, I read that and I thought I'd be peeing all day long.
I know.
But did you feel, so you didn't drink the water, but did you feel thirsty? I mean, so, I would drink the water. I was drinking it when I know I wasn't thirsty. I was just drinking it because I feel that I need to drink the water. But if I don't drink it, like I might have 1 bottle of water or something. I was starting to have cramps. And remember, my aunt was saying, well, you probably need to drink more water. So I started back drinking more water, and I don't have those cramps anymore.
See,
And so
water,
then,
yeah,
and grandmother, her doctor told her, yes, she needs to drink as much water and keep drinking that water, because I know I'm not saying this right, but her kidneys, doing something with her kidneys is causing this issue, that's making her feel like her iron is low, and that's why she feels cold all the time.
yeah. And the thing is, it's more than just thirsty. Your body needs water for a lot of things. It'll improve your complexion. It'll improve your digestion. It'll improve, your kidney functions. Absolutely. I'm not saying that. But it's these people who are thinking that this is a way to lose weight. A substitute for a good diet by drinking like your weight in ounces in water. Yeah, I saw that and I thought, good God, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'd swim away from here.
There are theories out there, but the idea is just drink, do what makes your body feel good. Like when I eat more fruits and vegetables, I feel better. Everything about it. My digestion is better. Everything is better. I just know it. When I drink, I drink plenty of water, but my complexion is better than it used to be when I was younger and I drank soda all the time. I don't have, it's all kinds of things. It's just that there are a lot of theories out there that just say, drink all this water and you'll lose weight. And I'm like, nah, it doesn't make a lot of sense. But if you trade out water for soda, you're going to be better off. If you don't like water, because a lot of people don't, I drink hint water because I like a little hint of flavor in there. I drink the carbonated water. I like the LaCroix and all of that. That because I like bubbles. I don't like soda. I like bubbles. I know that's weird, but I like the bubbles more than I like the sweetness of the soda. So eating and drinking is, be careful of wacky diets and wacky theories about eating and drinking. And like she gave very little time to alcohol, but what she was getting at is realize that there are things that if you're drinking a lot of alcohol, like with every meal or every dinner, it's going to do some things with overeating. It's going to disrupt your sleep. And it just, there are other things that it affects. Like I said, these are the foundations. So these are things that it's going to affect. So the last one I'll do very quickly, if you'll give me about 5 minutes. And it's called unclutter. According to her, and this is the one with the caveat, outer order contributes to inner calm. And it's the idea of the broken window concept. If a window is broken or something is broken and never fixed, then things around it will have a tendency to start to get broken, and that you won't fix those either. It's a controversial community theory that says if you have a community where there's a broken window, and you don't fix it, the next thing that's going to happen is there's another broken window, and then there's another thing wrong, and then there's another, and then there's graffiti. But anyway, the whole theory is that it's easier to fix one thing to keep from other things going wrong. And her idea is unclutter. She says that people get a lift if things are put in place and tasks are accomplished. Yes, we all have that sense of accomplishment. Some people, though, thrive in disarray. So you need to let them be. And because if you try to change somebody who is a little bit messy, you'll start to mess with their tendency and who they are. And it'll start to overwhelm them and their creativity and their peace of mind. So even though you might find it wonderful to unclutter, they want to, but they have a hard time living in an uncluttered. They have to have a space that there's a little clutter. And I love this adage. Here it is, the secret of adulthood. Keeping up is easier than catching up. At the end of the day, tidy your space. One of the things she said she likes to do is go into her bedroom and tidy up her bedroom a little bit and make sure there's not like a pile of clothes anywhere or anything like that. And that's part of her nighttime routine. And that's basically it. Just don't overwhelm somebody though, because they might be a little cluttered. Now, you have these 4 foundations. It's good to raise the bar on your foundations. These are the things you want to work on first. It's good to change things, but don't try to do them all at once, or you will unconsciously self-sabotage yourself. You'll be like, I can't get anything right. And they'll poke a hole in your enthusiasm because you'll have set the bar so high that you can't attain it. So pick the obvious, pick the thing you need to get, like Mother Trout says she needs to get back with the sandstone lady. Okay, that's the obvious. She wants to get back moving again. Pick one thing at a time. And even with these 4, you need to make choices that reflect your values, your tendencies, and your distinctions. It's easy for us to assume what works for me will work for you, but that's not right. It doesn't operate that way. So what works for me doesn't work for you. It's great when we all share these things because we hear things and we say, oh, that might work for me, or that's a good suggestion. But please don't hear at all someone saying this is the one way to solve your problem. As we learned with water, it's not always the same for everybody. Individual differences matter, and you have to decide what's best for you. G can do his health and wellness thing. We can do life classes, but you have to decide what's best for you. Nobody can decide it for you. We just give you the information to decide what you can do, and you decide what you can do first and foremost in any new habits or corrective things. And that's it for tonight. And I know I went over, but I wanted to finish it. And I knew this one would be a little bit harder because we're talking about those are the things we really want to focus on. Anything y'all want to share?
We really did talk about the walking piece in Health and Wellness Saturday. So we all talked about like when it gets warmer, maybe between you and Terrell and Deacon Cheryl, maybe there's some time that you all could get together throughout the week, however many days, and you could all walk together. And one of the things we discovered that, like we know we do have in the church, is that we kind of need a partner, a support system, our covenant community. So out here in Florissant, we were going to go walk at St. Ferdinand. And as we get closer to time, we'll pick out a time for that. So accountability, it's great to have an accountability partner. So I personally am definitely looking forward to the walking piece of that. So, but thank you for doing this. And it's just pivotal. And I mean, I think it's just right on point that what you're talking about is what we're talking about in health and wellness too. So all of this just kind of, we're getting on 2 or 3 sides. So it's great. So thank you.
Well, and I know it's an abundance of information, but it's all, like you said, it's all working together. And we just need to know that we're here for each other, and we're going to have good days and bad days. And we're going to feel good about some things and not so good about other things. But we have to just know that what works for me is what works for me. And I can give suggestions, but if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. It's okay. I'm not Terrell. Terrell's not me. And you know, we all have to deal with, we have age differences, we have health differences, we have different needs in our bodies. You know, we have things that we have to approach differently as far as our work and everything else. So we'll get there. We just have to make those changes and those things to improve our lifestyles the best way we can. And those of us who are committed to it are going to be able to do something that's at least going to make our lives a little bit better. And we'll be successful. I know we will. So if nobody has anything else, I know I went over, and I just knew that this is going to be a kind of a one that we really have to get that foundation, because it is the foundation before we go any further. But once I was reading it and I was talking to Steffi about it, I thought this one's going to take a little bit longer. Any other insights or thoughts?
Yeah, and I was just going to say, Elder Cindy, when you were talking about drinking water, it came across my mind. People put fruit in their water sometimes. I see a lady in my job. She always puts, I think, lemons and strawberries in her water. You know, like just to give us some flavor. Now, I would like to put just a little bit of sugar into something, but you know that works for her. But you know, so that's healthy.
The interesting thing about the fruit, though, Terrell, is that the sweetness from the fruit goes into the water. So if you consider like what I'm drinking, there is no sweetness. It's just kind of a hint of flavor. But if you put strawberries, or I've done blueberries, and I've done that before, where you do the infused water, you get the sweetness from the juice of the fruit. So you get a sweetness that you don't get with like something like that. So you get a little sweetness.
And then
the other thing is a little bit of honey.
Oh, okay, yeah, that sounds good. And then someone told me that, well, I've heard this somewhere, where you can actually eat your water, you know, because you know fruit has a lot of water content, like watermelon. And, you know, it's not the best type of water, you know, but, you know, drink a little water afterwards, but that would help. I think.
Very
water.
much so.
Oranges.
Yeah. Yeah. We get water in a lot of ways that we don't think about.
Yeah.
My sister has to watch her fruit intake, because you know that can put her in fluid overload.
My mom had the same problem.
She's on dialysis.
My mom was on dialysis, and the interesting thing is, you don't realize is until like my mom was the same way. She had to watch all kinds of intake, because you don't think about how much fluid is in your food. And so you really have to look at eating totally differently because of the fluid that's in foods.